This video is a show it lesson, and we can pretend to build with blocks like we can see in the picture. We will use manipulatives to help us in our maths learning. We will use Dienes, a large piece of paper, and it would be good if you have an iPad or a way of taking pictures, but no problem if you haven't. And if you don't have Dienes, you can either draw the shapes or use online digital manipulatives, such as those on mathsbot.com. So if we start with Dienes, we can see that Dienes are small cubes that are joined together to represent larger numbers. So here we have 1, and then 10 joined together, and then 100, and then 1,000 cubes joined together to form a large cube. To remember our Dienes, we can think of a Rubik's Cube, and we can pretend to try to solve a Rubik's Cube when we say Dienes. We'll start off with place value to understand column addition. In column addition, we organize our numbers into columns like you can see here with our lines, and we can karate chop in straight lines to remember column addition. We organize our columns for ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. I think of the army when I think of column addition. As in the army, you have to line up in straight lines and be organized. I think of the ones column with privates in charge, so we have private ones, and we can salute for private ones. And for our tens, I think of a captain in charge, so captain tens, and we can twirl a pretend moustache for captain tens. For our hundreds column, I think of a major in charge, so major hundreds, and we can sit up straight for major hundreds. And then for our thousands, I think of a general in charge, so general thousands, and we can pretend to put a hat on for general thousands. To help us, we can also think of our army traveling in different ships of increasing importance on our blue sea line. You might ask, do they always have to stay on their own ship? And the answer is no. There's the submarine regroup, which lets them travel between ships. We'll talk more of this later. There are rules for our ships. In our private one ship, only 9 privates are allowed. And in our captain 10 ship, only 9 teams of 10 are allowed. In our major hundreds ship, only 9 teams of 100 are allowed. And in our general thousands ship, only 9 teams of 1,000 are allowed. There is also a rule for our submarine regroup, in that 10 are needed. 10 privates or 10 teams are needed for it to travel between ships. So if we look at our first calculation, 5,752 add 3,813 equals. And we can form an addition sign with our arms for add. These are large numbers, so we will use column addition. We start with our column headings, our private ones, and we can salute. Our captain tens, we can twirl a pretend moustache. Our major hundreds, we sit up straight. And our general thousands, we put on a hat. We then add in our columns with 2 lines for our answer and an addition sign. We look at 5,752 with 5 thousands, 700s, 5 tens and 2 ones, and 3,813 with 3 thousands, 800s, 110 and 3 ones. So let's have a look with our Dienes, and we can pretend to solve a Rubik's Cube for Dienes. So we'll count in our Dienes for our top number for our 5,000s. So there's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we've got 700s. There's our 700s. We've got 5 tens. And we've got 2 ones. And for our bottom number, we've got 3,000s, 800s, 110, and 3 ones. So we add our private ones. We've got 2 add 3. I'm going to swap to get the biggest number first because it's easier. So 3 add 2. 3 add 2 is 3, 4, 5. So 5 private ones. And this is fine because on our private one ship only 9 are allowed and we have 5, so 5 will fit on, and we can place our Dienes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can write our number in 5 in our private ones column. Next we move on to our Captain 10s column, and we can twirl a pretend moustache, and we have 5 teams of 10 add 1 team of 10. So 5 add 1 is 5, 6. So we've got 6 teams of 10. And again, this is fine, as our rule on our Captain 10 ship is only 9 teams of 10 are allowed. We've got 6, so that's less than 9, so they'll fit on. So we can place our Dienes, there's our 6 teams of 10, and we can write our green 6 in our Captain 10's column. Now on to our major hundreds column, and we have 7 teams of 100 and 8 teams of 100. We'll swap, so 8 add 7. 8 add 7 is 15, so we've got 15 teams of 100. Now this is a problem, as remember on our major 100 ship only 9 teams of 100 are allowed, and we have 15. So this is too many. So what do we do? This is where our submarine regroup comes into it. And when we say regroup, we can group our hands together. So submarine regroup. The submarine also has a rule, if you remember, where 10 teams or privates are needed to fill it. So we can take 10 teams of 100. So count out 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Watch them disappear. And we're going to regroup them, because 10 teams of 100 can make 1 team of 1,000. I'm going to hold one finger up. And this 1 team of 1,000, we can squash them into our submarine regroup and then send them to the next column to be under the command of our general 1,000. Our 1 team of 1,000 sinks down, and we can point it down like our arrow. Watch it go. It sinks down to get to our submarine regroup. The submarine regroup then moves across, and we can point across like our arrow to be under the 1,000s column, under the command of our general 1,000. How does this look with our numbers? Looking at our Dienes, in our major hundreds column, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams of 100 left behind. So we can write 5 in, our blue 5. 10 teams have been regrouped into 1 team of 1,000, and they've sunk down and moved across underneath the 1,000s column. So that's 1 team of 1,000. So we write a red 1 underneath our 1,000 column. With our numbers, we only write the 1,000 where it finishes in its journey in our submarine regroup. We then think about adding our huge teams of thousands in our general thousands column, and we can put our hat on. So we've got 5 teams of 1,000, add 3 teams of 1,000. We don't need to swap because the biggest number's first. So 5 add 3, 5 add 3, 5, 6, 7 is 8. So we've got 8 teams of 1,000. You can see them there. But we can't forget the 1 team of 1,000 in our submarine regroup, which we can circle, and we can draw a circle in the air so we don't forget it. So we add 1 extra regrouped team of 1,000. We had 8 teams of 1,000. Add the extra 1. 8 add 1 is 9. So we've added our extra 1 team, and now we can cross it off to show that we've done it and form a cross with our arms. So we've got 9 teams of 1,000 now. Let's just double check on our general 1,000 ship. 9 teams of 1,000 are allowed. We've got 9 teams, so lucky enough they fit perfectly. So we can add in our Dienes. Now we've got 9 teams of 1,000 there, and we can add in our red number 9. And then finally we add in our comma to tell us when to say 1,000, and we've got our answer 9,565, and we've regrouped in the hundreds column. Time for your go now to show it, and we can build with blocks to use Dienes to column add with regrouping. Let's do one together. Get your iPad, if you have one, ready to take pictures. We have our example question, E1 bracket, and then 2,631, add 6,447. In the top corner of your piece of paper, we write E1 bracket for example 1. We create our columns and our answer lines, then our addition signs and our column headings for our ones, tens, hundreds and thousands. And then we add in our numbers. We've got 2,631 and we've got 6,447, and we make sure everything lines up. We then count out our Dienes. So 2 teams of 1,000, 6 teams of 100, 3 teams of 10 and 1 1. And then we've got 6 teams of 1,000, 4 teams of 100, 4 teams of 10 and 7 ones. Right, pause the video, do this and take a picture with your iPad, please. As usual, we start with our private ones and we can salute. So we've got 1 add 7. I'm going to swap the numbers to start with my biggest number as it's easier. So 7 add 1. 7 add 1 is 7, 8. So we've got 8 private ones. Let's just double check the ship. Only 9 are allowed. We've got 8, so they can fit on. So we can add in our 8 ones. We can also add in our number. Right, pause the video, do this and take a picture with your iPad, please. Next, we look at our Captain 10's column and we can twirl a pretend moustache. So we've got 3 teams of 10, add 4 teams of 10. We'll swap again to start with the biggest number. So 4 add 3. 4 add 3 is 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7 teams of 10. And that's fine again, as 9 teams of 10 are allowed on our Captain 10 ship. And we've got 7, so they'll fit on easily. So we can add in our Dienes. We've got 7 teams of 10, and we can add our number in. Right, pause the video, do this and take a picture with your iPad, please. Next, we add our major hundreds. So we've got 6 teams of 100, add 4 teams of 100. No need to swap as the biggest number is first already. So 6 add 4 is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 teams of 100. Let's check our rule again, and we've got a problem. Only 9 teams of 100 are allowed. We've got 10 teams. That's too many. So there's our 10. What do we do? Right, pause the video, do this and take a picture with your iPad, please. Now we can call for our submarine regroup as we have too many teams. And you can see the rule for our submarine, 10 teams are needed. And we have exactly 10 there. So we'll regroup our 10 teams of 100, watch them disappear, regroup them into 1 team of 1,000, our red cube, to fit into our submarine and send them to the 1,000 column. Right, pause the video, do this and take a picture with your iPad, please. Our 1 team of 1,000 then sinks down and we can point down. Watch our red cube sink down, there he goes. Right, pause the video, do this and take a picture with your iPad, please. And travels across, and we can point across, travels across in our submarine regroup. There it goes, to be under our 1,000 column, under the command of our General 1,000. We can now add in our numbers. We've said 6 teams of 100, add 4 is 10 teams of 100. And we regrouped those 10 teams into 1 team of 1,000 to send to the next column. So we've left nobody behind, no teams behind. We have 0 teams of 100 left. So we can write 0 in. We can then think of our 1 team of 1,000 in our submarine regroup underneath the 1,000 column. That's 1 team of 1,000. So we write in 1 underneath our thousands column. So pause the video, do this and take a picture with your iPad, please. We then think about adding our teams of 1,000 in our general thousands column. So 2 teams of 1,000 add 6 teams of 1,000. I'm going to swap the numbers to start with our biggest number. So 6 add 2. 6 add 2 is 6, 7, 8. So 8 teams of 1,000. But we can't forget the 1,000 in our submarine regroup. So we circle our number 1 and we circle our 1 team of 1,000. Right, pause the video, do this and take a picture with your iPad, please. So we've got 8 teams of 1,000 and our extra 1 from our submarine regroup. 8 add 1 gives us 8, 9 gives us 9 teams of 1,000. Right, because we've added our extra 1 regrouped team of 1,000, we can now cross off the number and the team of 1,000 and form a cross with our arms. Right, so we've got 9 teams of 1,000. Let's just double check with our rule. Only 9 teams of 1,000 are allowed, and we've got 9, so they fit on perfectly. So we can add in our extra 1 team of 1,000. And we've got 9, we can add in our number, 9,078. We can add in our comma to tell us where to say 1,000. And there's our answer, 9,078, as I've said. And we've regrouped in our hundreds. Right, pause the video, do this, and take a picture with your iPad, please. Now it's your turn with number 1, 7,682, add 1,917. Have a go and come back to this video to check the answer. If you want more practice, you can look at numbers 2 and 3 and ask an adult to check those answers. Don't forget to line up your private ones, and then your captain tens, then your major hundreds, then your general thousands, and then we're adding our private ones, we're adding our captain tens, we're adding our major hundreds, remembering that on our major hundreds ship, only 9 teams are allowed, so you've got to call for your submarine regroup and regroup 10 teams of 100 into 1 team of 1,000. And then our submarine sinks down and travels across. Then we add our general thousands column, not forgetting to add your extra 1 regrouped team of 1,000. I'll start you off with your columns, your lines, and your numbers. Don't forget to take pictures of each stage as you go along. Right, pause the video and off you go. Hopefully you counted out your Dienes correctly. We start with our private ones column. 2 add 7, we'll swap. So 7 add 2, 7 add 2. Hopefully you've got 9 in your private ones column as your answer. Then on to our captain tens column. We've got 8 teams of 10, add 1. 8 add 1 is 9, and we've got 9 teams of 10. So next our major hundreds column, and we've got 6 teams of 100, add 9 teams of 100. I'm going to swap, so 9 add 6. 9 add 6 is 15, so hopefully you had 15 teams of 100. But 15 teams of 100 is more than 9, and they won't fit onto our major hundreds ship. So we need to regroup and group 10 teams of 100. So watch my 10 teams disappear into 1 team of 1,000. Our 1 team of 1,000 then sinks down in our submarine regroup and travels across to our next column to be under the thousands column, under the command of our general thousands. We can now add in our numbers. In our hundreds column, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teams of 100 left. And we've got our 1 regrouped team of 1,000 underneath our 1,000 column. We then move on to our general thousands column. So 7 teams of 1,000, add 1 team of 1,000. We don't need to swap because the biggest number's first. 7 add 1 is 8. 8 teams of 1,000. So there's our 8 teams of 1,000. But we can't forget the 1 team of 1,000 in our submarine regroup, which we can circle, draw a circle in the air. We add the extra regrouped 1 team of 1,000. So we had 8 teams of 1,000. We've got an extra 1, which gives us 9. We can cross it off. And then we'll add in our extra team of 1,000. And now 8 add 1 gives us 9. We can write in our number 9 and put in our comma finally. And we've got our answer, 9,599. And we've regrouped in the hundreds column again. In this video, we looked at addition, concentrating on using column addition with regrouping in the hundreds to add thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones using Dienes. And our steps to success, we can hopefully now say at the end of this video, are: number 1, I can set out column addition using thousands, hundreds, tens and ones, numbers and Dienes. And number 2, I can add ones, tens, hundreds and thousands. And number 3, I can regroup hundreds. And number 4, I can add the regrouped thousand. This has been a Teaching Alive short video taken from themed units aimed at learners aged 7 to 11. Throughout our videos, we use pictures and suggest actions for teaching points. So please join in with us to support learning and have some fun. For more information on the Teaching Alive project and to be shown to learn and to practice more, visit teachingalive.co.uk.